Hey, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kadash. It is your brother Eldar Yathan back at you with another video. I just finished watching this movie, Leave the World Behind. I believe, excuse me, I believe it came out in the theaters not too long ago, but I just caught it on Netflix. I suggest all you brethren watch this movie. It's a good movie. It's got Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, and another famous actor. I can't remember his name right now. But this goes into 2nd Ezra's 15th and 16th chapter. Bottom line, it goes into the breakdown of society, virgin daughter of Babylon being hit by foreign countries which have joined forces against Babylon. This movie goes into it all. It goes into the great insurrection spoken about in the book of Ezra, in the Apocrypha. So I suggest all you brothers go watch this. Now, this reminded me of a psychological warfare tactic, right? Because when you watch this, it basically breaks down how they're going to get people to, how they're going to engineer the civil war, which the scriptures call the great insurrection. So there's the book of Psalm 64 where it says that the Most High is going to cause these whistleblowers, he's going to cause their tongue to fall upon themselves. So you have these whistleblowers that go out there and they leak information. Some of them are set up, to do that. And some of them are not. And, they have, I'll say, they lead this world in unfortunate ways. But some of them that are set up. And one way they do that are through movies. And there's a warfare psychological tactic they use called the revelation of the method. And we always tell you, brothers and sisters, that Esau's, his main weapon is deception. This is why he's known as what? The devil. The devil means what? Deceiver. So he studies, he's a master at psychological warfare. If you go on Amazon, there's this book here by Michael Hoffman called Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare. And he breaks down a method called the revelation of the method. So let me read what it is. This is one person's review. Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare by Michael A. Hoffman. The second is a groundbreaking masterwork in the machinations. I'm not sure what this word means. Let me look it up. Machinations or machinations. A plot or scheme. Okay. New word for me. Machination. Into the machinations of the Masonic secret societies. Hoffman discusses an almost, if not subliminal, language being used by the media, Hollywood, and contained in the works of fiction. And, man, we tell brothers all the time that they love to hide who they are, but they don't really hide it. But they call it hidden in plain sight because they'll do it in indirect and obscure ways, but they'll put it right in front of your face in logos and movies in the form of comedy. But they put it right in front of your face. It says, language being used by media, Hollywood, and contained in works of fiction, especially science fiction, which he calls twilight language. So in other words, one thing we would say all the time is that when the elites, when they make these movies for each other. In other words, when they watch these movies, they get the real understanding, the secret message behind the movie. So do we, because our eyes are also open through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So this is his twilight language that he's talking about. When the presidents get accepted into office and they have uh, their speech, right? Their when they're inaugurated and they tell the speech is written in Twilight language. So when they talk about the light and they speak much about the New World Order, and a lot they don't use those words in particular. They'll say something like the horizon or the light ahead of us or something like that. But they're talking in what Twilight language, Masonic code. So it says Hoffman argues that the serial killings, school shootings, mass shootings, bombings, and other acts of terror are being used in a alchemical act which he calls Masonic psychodrama. Let's look that up. Okay, you can't find much on that. But these violent acts are part of the sick Hegelian synthesis designed to break the will of the people and allow a police state to be erected with little resistance, because they use they use fear tactics. And this is why order ab chaos is so powerful. Number one, these people, they don't believe in the Most High. You know, even our people, they don't believe in the Most High. They believe in man. They believe in Esau. The scriptures talk about them. Woe to those who go down to Egypt, who trust in their chariots. So they believe in the system, because the system has the army. They've got the army, they got the weapons and all that. So they see the system as their god. So when something happens, right, some type of drama or some type of horrific event, some type of a violent act, they turn to the system for help or to bring order to the chaos. So in other words, these people, they're through that fear, through those acts, violent acts, through this psychodrama, as it's being called here, the people's will, it gets weak. Like right now, people's will is very weak right now. They don't know what the hell is going on. So what they do to soothe themselves is they basically lean into their ignorance because it's safer. Like an ostrich. They have that saying, stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. That's what these people do. So they bury themselves in bread and circus, in entertainment, football game, basketball game, soccer game, movies, video games, virtual reality, instead of dealing with the real world, because their will is weak, which really goes back to the men, the feminization of men, who are supposed to be the hedge or the wall, the protectors of society. But anyway, let's read on. It says these violent acts are part of the sick Hegelian synthesis designed to break the will of the people and allow a police state to be erected with little resistance. Like I said, ordo ab chaos. It's been 11 years since the book was published, blah, blah, blah. Now I want to go into the revelation of method, because that's what I mentioned. Okay. So it says here, Hoffman, who's the author of the book, provides many convincing arguments to support what he labels the revelation of method, which is a technique used in psychological warfare where eventually a conspiracy becomes known. As researchers attempt to document and publicize a conspiracy, more and more people are processed into the psychological operation through their efforts, thus providing a measure of success of the operation. So basically they're able to manifest the operation by making it public, by having the people buy into it. So the people actually subconsciously put faith into what they're seeing. So they'll put in a movie just like this. They'll put in a movie and it subconsciously gets people primed for this to happen. All right, so they talked about the economy in this movie. They talked about the economy, and the Apostle Ronlab has sent me a couple articles revolving the state of the economy now, which people still don't They don't have a clue. They see the prices rising. They see things getting more expensive. People are losing their homes, not getting jobs. But it hasn't clicked yet to the average American, to the majority, that what you're experiencing, and I'm not even going to say the beginning of a economic crash. We're in it. We're in the crash already. The bubble just hasn't burst yet. So this article says a constant state of sticker shock, meaning every time you walk into the stores, people are shocked at the prices. Week by week, month by month, grocery prices are going up, the cost of goods are going up, but people are not catching on that these are the signs of what is actually happening, which is a economic collapse of the American dollar, of the system is crashing. Send me this other article here. The money supply continues its biggest collapse since the Great Depression. So I'm not going to go into the article, but you get the gist of it from the title. Now, when you go into the scriptures, right? Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it says this, shall not all these take a parable against him? And the him is who's talking about here, America, aka Babylon. A taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, because of everything that has been got here by the elites who rule America, who rule the world. Everything that has been gotten by rape, robbery, murder, and deceit. So eventually the Most High is going to put the spirit on the other nations to snap out of the spell, right, that they're under. To snap out of the spell the Babylonian juice. You know, the scriptures talk about how they're drunk. Matter of fact, let me get that. So Revelation 17. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, saying unto me, come hither, I will show thee unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And the great whore is talking about who? It's talking about America. America, and the waters is talking about what? The people, across the globe. America has an embassy everywhere in the globe. Amongst all the nations, America has a U.S. embassy there. So America is the whore that sitteth upon many waters. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So when you're drunk, you really don't know what's going on. You're wobbly, you're drunk, your wits aren't really there. You just kind of follow along. Okay? So the Most High is going to cause that wine to wear off. And they're going to start taunting America and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? Because there's a literal spell. Here, get another scripture. It's a literal spell that's cast over the other nations. Man, let me see. How does the scripture go? Isaiah 25:7, and he that he is the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, will destroy in this mountain. Mountain represents what? This kingdom, this government. The face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Let's read the word veil. Veil meaning take off or lower one's hat or crown as a token of respect or submission. Ooh, to take off one's hat or otherwise show respect or submission to someone. So the most and the veil that is spread over all nations. So this position that America has over the other nations, where the other nations are submitted to America, the Most High is gonna break that. So that's what I mean by the Most High is gonna take them out of that spell that they're under. They're in like a zombie spell. So they're submitted unto America. One of the ways they did that was by way of that their weaponry, right? The atomic bombs. But now the other nations, the Most High gave them technology so that they could fight back, so they could be offensive and defensive, with Russia having their back. So now that spirit of submission, the Most High is removing that spirit of submission off of them. So it says here, going back to Habakkuk, it says, "Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." And it got an exclamation point there. Now, thick clay means what? When you go to the blue letter, right, and you read what thick clay means, it says the weight of pledges, heavy debts. So America is suffering from heavy debts, in other words, inflation. So the Spirit told me to go and look up Rome. And guess what? Before Rome fell, it was the same thing. One of the main factors for Rome's collapse, proving that America, what Scripture say, what the thing that has been is that which shall be. Proving what we say all the time, that America is modern day Rome. Um, Now check this out. In ancient Rome, wealthy individuals and especially members of the imperial elite, senators and knights, frequently granted loans, these are the big banks, at interest to members of the public. In AD 33, these loans became increasingly scarce, leading to a severe crisis. Now, I was watching a video earlier. I forgot the name of the guy, but there was a guy in there. He was a real estate expert, and he was talking about the housing bubble, how it's about to pop, and there's going to be a housing crisis soon. 2024 is going to be a hell of a year. You know, I got the stock market charts here. I'm going to open it up and show you brothers and sisters, according to the charts, what's the forecast for the future, and it's not good. The future of America is not good. It's not good at all. Um, but anyway, he was talking about the housing market bubble that's about to pop, and he said it's not going to be good for homeowners, but it's going to be especially worse for the lenders because of the interest rates, and basically people are not going to be able to pay the lenders. So the lenders are going to suffer, right? Because look what it says here: frequently granted loans at interest to members of the public. In 1833, these loans became increasingly scarce, leading to a severe crisis. Right now, when you read down, I'm not going to go into these, but the point I'm making is that Rome was also destroyed because of a financial crisis. Even here, they're comparing. This is Harvard University, a article written by Harvard University. The financial crisis then and now, ancient Rome in 2008. So you find that there's a lot of comparisons all the time with America and Rome because it's the same spirit. Yeah, during Tiberius' time, there was a financial crisis in Rome. So I'm not an expert at the state of the economy or the details in the Roman Empire. You know, Lord's well, I'm going to look more into it. But if and you brothers out there got know the history, have more detail, that'd be a good lesson to do. All right. So basically, I'm just showing you the similarities between what's going on now and what went on in ancient Rome. All right. So let's go into the charts because when I saw these articles here, and also after watching the movie, Spirit told me to go look at the charts. All right. So let's look at the chart here. So what I'm looking up here is called the DXY. Let me show you the DXY is. The DXY, baby. DXY. Okay, what is the DXY? The DXY is a symbol for the US dollar index which tracks the price of the US dollar against 6 foreign currencies, aiming to give an indication of the value of US dollars in global markets. I didn't see this before. What is this? The United States dollar is expected to trade at 104. Blah blah blah. Man, they be lying. They lie their red asses off. The U.S. dollar is expected to trade at 104.29 by the end of this quarter. When was this published? I don't know what article this is from, but this is way off. By the end of this quarter, according to Trading Economic Global macro models and analysts' expectations. The scriptures talk about these analysts. Those that look out the windows, those are the analysts. Here, in case you don't know which scripture I'm referring to, let's go to it. Let me see if I think it goes like this. Ecclesiastes 12:3, the keepers of the house. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, meaning no jobs, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And those that look out the windows, that's talking about the forecast. Looking out the windows, talking about looking at what is a forecast, the state of Babylon. Those today they call them analysts, financial analysts, real estate analysts. So it says, looking forward, we estimate to trade at 107.58 in a 12 months time. So in other words, they're saying within 1 year, by next year, the US dollar should be trading at a higher rate. And that is not what I see, baby. Okay, so let's go to it. So here's the charts right here. That's the USD, US dollar index. It shows the strength of the dollar. Now, how can I view this by year? Let me see. Okay, so this is... Okay, so here's the US dollar index of strength by year. Starts out at 67. You can see it reached a height. It reached a bottom here in 78. From 78 up to 85, right? The year is down here along with the month. So right here, 1985, it reached a height, hit a bottom again in 92, another height in 01, hit another bottom in 08. Man, it hit a bottom at 08, and now we're at the peak of this year right here. So right now, the dollar's trading at almost 115, 114. That article said at 107. So I don't know when that was written, but it's at 115 now. But let me show you what I see. I see trouble coming. So let me see if I can demonstrate something to you, brothers. Now, here, let me do this first. Let me go back to this. If you look at the chart, right, you'll see these gaps. Hold on, let me show you. Okay. That looks ugly. Let me take that off. It's trying to show y'all something. Here, I'll do it manually by hand. But if you look, there's like these bars here, right? Excuse me. These bars here, they kind of overlap each other. Now, if you notice, some of these bars, like this one here, there's a gap. Right in there, there's a gap. Right? There's a gap here, I think. No, is there one here? No. Slack it, I'm sorry. I'm kind of in my own head right now. All right, so there's a gap here. Boom. I don't know if y'all can see that, but right here there's a gap. Okay? So the gap is between this low. This is called a candle. The low of this candle, then there's this one. And then the high of this candle, there's like an empty space here. As you can see, like, these candles don't have spaces in between them. Okay? Now, the reason that's important is this. Let me see if I can show y'all. Okay. There was one here, right? Now, this is what happens. Let me rewind, go back in time. So this is a tool that's used to look at the market. Now here, there's a big gap in here, right? What the market does is when there's a gap, the market always comes back to it. And slack it if this doesn't make sense to you, but I'm trying to make it make sense the best way I can. But as you can see, from here, the market's been basically in a downtrend. It's been going down. Boom. The market's been going down. Now what price has to do, or what the market has to do, when there's a gap like this, it will always come back to the gap to fill it. The gap is unfilled. Always comes back to the gap to fill it. Once it goes inside of the gap, it drives price back down. Okay, so to show you an example of that, I'm going to draw it out right here. You can see price came back into this space, this gap, and it should reject out of it. And yep. And you can see the price went inside of it a little bit, and then it went back down. Every time you see a gap, that's what happens. It sends price further down. Whoops. Yep. All right. Sends price down. And I could find multiple examples of this throughout the chart. Give me a second here. Let me find another good example. Okay. Trying to find an example to show y'all. So here's another one here. So this is when price was going up. And look, whoops, no, I don't want to exit. Just want to show this. Okay, so here's the gap I'm talking about. So there's a gap there. Now watch what happens when the market comes back into it. Market is going up, stock is doing good, it's going up. It comes down. It goes into that gap right there. And then it comes out of it. It drives price higher. So if the market is going up and it causes a gap and it comes back down into the gap, it pushes it, propels it forward. The other way around, like when we looked at earlier, when the market is going down, if the market is going down and then it comes back up inside a gap, the gap is going to propel it back down. Okay? So now, if we look at where we're at right now, so back in 1985, when price was going down, it caused a huge gap right here. Where's my tool? Right here, it caused a gap. And as you can see, in 01, 2001, the price came back into this gap. And what did I say? When price comes into a gap, it propels back down. So here it is, it propelled down. Boom. So from 2001, it dropped about 2008, right? That was the minor depression. Well, depression. Price is coming back up. Now, as price is coming back up, it's coming back into a gap. That's original gap, plus there's another little gap that got created right here. See? And look what's happening. When you see this little, this right here, this wick, that means price went up and is being pushed down. The wick represents resistance. And this is what happens when price comes into a gap. It gets pushed out of it. So like I said, price went into it and it's created this long wick because price is being pushed out. Okay? It's being propelled back down. So this is January 22, 2022. This is January 2023. Now remember, each one of these represents 1 year. So from January 2023, this is where we're at right now. It went up into this gap and it's being pushed out of it. So that means for January 2024, you can expect the market to, So 2024 is going to be a very ugly year. So this is what the scriptures talk about when it says this here. Jeremiah 51 and 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. And balm is what? Ointment. A fragrant ointment or preparation used to heal or soothe the skin. So the Most High, what he's doing is he's destroying Babylon from the inside out. When you destroy something like that, there's no way to recover. There's going to be no recovery for America. No recovery at all. But anyway, that was the main thing, really. I did the video is because I looked at this chart and I said, oh shit. 2024, it's going to be some shit. The only way this can be fixed is something happens. They may pump some money into the economy like they did for C-19. If they pump some money, it'll artificially boost it up, but then again, it's artificial. That's the only way they could keep this from dropping, but from what it looks like, 2024 is going to be really, really bad. Really bad. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakudah, shalom.